You are listening to the Not Physio podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Resmondo, owner of South Alabama Physiotherapy and creator of the Not Physio, where life should be fun and light. This is the podcast where we talk about how to keep the active adult who's busy with work and family life fit and healthy to enjoy the Gulf Coast outdoors. Let's get into today's episode. Before we start today, I wanted to let you know about our free Facebook group, the Not Physio. I do live trainings in the group each week to dive deeper into strategies to remain active and where you can ask me questions personally and I'll give you feedback. Okay, on to the episode. Hey guys, Jenny Resmondo here, the Not Physio, coming in live on this Wednesday afternoon. I'm so happy to be able to have you guys tune in to listen to the podcast, and I hope that you've been finding lots of value in the topics and the people that we've been bringing on for interviews. And our last episode was all talking about the Greg Godwin's American Heroes on the Gulf, Disabled American Veterans Fishing event. That is coming up in just a few weeks, well, maybe 5 weeks or so. It's Mother's Day weekend, or the Thursday and Friday of Mother's Day weekend. And you guys could still be a part of that. If you're interested, be sure to reach out to me. I'll be sure to forward your information to all the parties involved to be able to get you out there so that you can help out with this wonderful event and be able to help our veterans and show them the love and support that we all have. One thing that I wanted to talk about on today's episode is how do you deal with when you're traveling and or you're going out of town for a big fishing trip. There are several different techniques that you could help yourself with if you're dealing with low back pain. And so, as some of you may know, I am traveling. This is our spring break for Baldwin County school systems, and so we visited the Tampa Bay area and headed back tomorrow morning, first thing. So, I've got the family holding down the home front for us. However, when we're out traveling, some of you know my story that I've dealt with low back pain many times in the past. And so things that I do to be able to help to be able to travel and to be able to do all the fun, adventurous type activities that my family and I, we enjoy. An 8-hour car ride is kind of a challenge. And so I want to make sure that I'm helping you all be able to figure out things that you could do to be able to save your back whenever you are traveling. The first thing that I would suggest for you all is to be able to have plenty of water. I've talked to you guys many times about hydration and water content and how important that is. It's super important to stay hydrated. The second thing that I would suggest is that you map out your trip so that you're stopping about every 2 hours to get out and to be able to stretch your legs so that you can actually move and get some fluid moving in the joints of your back and your hips, your knees, the whole spine itself. So every 2 hours is roughly a good estimate to be able to help yourself to be able to allow that movement. I carry a small travel pillow with me, and it's not the U-shaped pillow like you see in the airports. This is just a smaller version of a pillow. But the pillow that I use, it's flexible enough that if I need it to be supportive for my low back, I could place it there. And it's also comfortable enough so if I want neck support, I could roll it up at my neck. It just really depends on if I'm the driver or if I'm a passenger in the car. So, and when I'm a driver in the car, it's not nearly as big of a deal to have that pillow. However, when I'm the passenger, it definitely is a lifesaver to be able to have that. Some of your vehicles have the automatic lumbar support for the passenger seat, but some don't. So the travel pillow could be a great accessory for your travels. The other thing I wanted to mention is whenever you do get out to stop every 2 hours, there's a few stretches that you could do And these stretches are simply just backwards bending, forwards bending, side bending, and twisting your spine. If you would like a sheet that has the cheat sheet for each of those motions, be sure to reach out. They're super easy. You can also Google, YouTube. I'll be sure to post a video when I get back home on the stretches that I've been using. Um, so that can be extremely helpful for most people who are suffering with back pain. The last thing I want to mention is when you do get out and stretch every 2 hours is to make sure you take a short little walk. If you have to go to the bathroom, perfect. That's a good opportunity to take advantage of the rest areas. But also just taking a few laps around the car, the parking lot, wherever it is that you're stopping. So those are my tips for traveling. To be able to stay hydrated, it's usually better to go ahead and start to work on your hydration the night before you travel. So be sure that if you are traveling, that you start the day before. And the last thing about the hydration, I know I'm kind of flip-flopping back and forth, but the last thing about hydration is some people like to partake in alcoholic beverages when they're on vacation. And that's perfectly fine. That's everybody's, to each their own. It's your decision to be able to have alcohol when you're out traveling. But when you're actually traveling, your body goes through a little bit more of a dehydration process, and the alcohol increases that. So if you could think about every time you have an alcoholic beverage, you want to have the same quantity of water to be able to counteract the dehydration components of the alcohol. All right, guys, this is my episode on traveling, trying to reduce back pain, and limiting your dehydration by increasing your fluid intake. So when you're traveling, stay hydrated, keep moving, stop every 2 hours. Those are the quick tips for this episode. Tune in next time for the Not a Physio podcast, and always like and subscribe. I appreciate your listening, and if you have any questions that you'd like to submit that I could answer live on these feeds, just let me know. I'm happy to share that with you. Until next time, you guys have a great one.